The girl poured her drink onto another girl's rice. Watching the drink-soaked rice in front of her, the timid girl reluctantly ate it.
그만 좀 해, 제발.
Her pleas for mercy were ignored, and her classmates even dumped more food onto her. A chubby guy couldn't stand it anymore and stepped in to stop them.
조용히 좀 해라. 밥 좀 먹게.
그래 밥 먹어 이 돼지새끼야.
The school bully didn't understand why the timid guy suddenly changed and threatened him to wait after school. Little did the bully know that the chubby guy in front of him wasn't the same person. Originally weak and always bullied by the school bully, the chubby guy had been forced to climb the roof 2 days earlier to fetch shoes and fell off, landing right on a man standing below. This man was a former gang leader who married the chairman's daughter and became the company president, but the fall sent him straight to the hospital. President Jang Pantsu slowly regained consciousness in the hospital.
정신이 들어요?
When Pantsu reached another hospital room, he was shocked to see his own body lying there. At that moment, the father of the high schooler Kim Dong-hyun arrived at the hospital. Pantsu was stunned to see his face as a high school student. The doctor could only explain Pantsu's condition as temporary amnesia. Pantsu secretly went home and saw his wife crying, thinking she was mourning him, but it turned out that she was upset about her broken necklace.
누구세요?
내가 누구냐면 나 판수야. 당신 남편 잔판수.
In a panic, his wife called security. No matter how Pantsu tried to explain, his wife was convinced he was a madman. Pantsu was overpowered by security and taken to the police station. Dong-hyun's father had to explain Pantsu's situation as mental instability due to his injury, and the police released him. Back at the hospital, Pantsu pounded on his own body, hoping to switch souls back. Just as his subordinate, Man Chul, walked in, Man Chul recognized Dong-hyun as the high school student responsible for Pantsu's coma. Unable to explain, Pantsu seized the opportunity to escape and follow Dong-hyun's father home. Dong-hyun's dad took Pantsu to the school to meet with the principal, trying to find out if Dong-hyun was being bullied. The principal denied everything. Pantsu told Dong-hyun's dad to leave, deciding to investigate the truth himself. The former gang leader boldly entered the classroom. After sitting down, a group of arrogant boys made disrespectful gestures toward him. Pantsu realized they must be involved in the situation. When Dong-hyun went to the cafeteria for lunch, he saw the girl Hyun-young being bullied. At first, he didn't want to get involved, but the girls went too far. Pantsu stepped in to stop them, which angered the delinquent boy who had flipped him off earlier. The delinquent was about to lash out but was stopped by a teacher who had just walked in. The delinquent warned him to wait until after school. After school, the delinquent swaggered up to Pantsu.
누구냐 너? 누구냐 너?
그럼 기억이 날까 이 새끼.
Pantsu just walked away coolly. Frustrated, they took out their anger on Dong-hyun's deskmate. They were worried that Dong-hyun's deskmate might tell others about the beating, so they threatened him, and Pantsu happened to be there. Pantsu picked up the phone and saw photos of Dong-hyun being bullied. The delinquent tried to snatch the phone back.
괜찮아? 괜찮아? 내일 줄게. 어떻게?
When Pantsu got home, he took out the phone and saw the entire sequence of Dong-hyun's fall from the building. Meanwhile, Pantsu's wife was meeting with a man but was intercepted by a competitor who took some compromising photos. The competitor planned to use Pantsu's wife to take him down. Pantsu found his right-hand man, Man Chul, and revealed his true identity. But Man Chul didn't believe him. Pantsu had to recount everything Man Chul had done in the past. Hearing the old stories, Man Chul finally believed him. One day after school, Pantsu was bumped into by Hyun-young on his way home. About to get angry, he saw that Hyun-young had dropped a teddy bear and chased after her to return it. As he was about to leave, Hyun-young's mother suddenly appeared. Seeing Hyun-young's mother left Pantsu in shock.
미선아, 네가 왜 여기 있어?
지금 말 깠냐? 어? 어디 어른 이름을 막 부르고 풀만한 새끼가 어디? 야!
Back home, Pantsu remembered his past with Mi-sun. He suddenly suspected that Hyun-young was his daughter and had Man Chul secretly take a sample of his hair. The next day, Pantsu took the opportunity to pull out a strand of Hyun-young's hair. The paternity test showed that Hyun-young was indeed his daughter. Thinking of the bullying Hyun-young endured at school, he felt guilty. Pansu decided to go into protective mode for his daughter. A delinquent girl used the excuse of missing lip gloss to pick on Hyun-young again, accusing her of stealing it. Pansu stood up and claimed that he was the one who took it. He brought in Man-chul and gave him information on the girls, marking where each one should have a fracture. Man-chul was hesitant to harm high school students. Pansu decided to inform Mi-sun about Hyun-young being bullied by classmates. As a single mother, she could only feel heartbroken and curse Pansu for being a heartless man. Pansu had to handle the situation himself. Meanwhile, Pansu's wife went to her father, presenting falsified accounts made by their rival, claiming that Pansu embezzled 30 billion won from the company. To prevent Hyun-young from being bullied again, Pansu tricked her into going to a boxing gym. He had Man-chul pose as a coach to give Hyun-young special training. The two of them started an intense fitness regimen. Hyun-young visibly improved at a rapid pace. When he went to school again, the girls were shocked. Pansu made an excuse to visit Hyun-young's house. While Hyun-young was changing clothes, he saw photos of her as a baby and took pictures of them. Every day during class, he would daydream while looking at Hyun-young's photos. In the cafeteria, the delinquent girl came to trouble Hyun-young again. This time, Hyun-young didn't back down and retorted with words.
뭐래 이 병신. 병신같은 왕따년이 어제 개쩌네. 야, 너 학교 생활 꼬이고 싶냐?
상관없어. 지금도 충분히 꼬였거든. 근데 앞으로는 잘 살아보려고.
Mi-sun, to thank Pansu for helping her daughter grow, invited him to a hot pot feast. Some drunken men took the opportunity to harass Mi-sun. Pansu couldn't stand it and stood up to confront the drunks. One of the drunks tried to start a fight but was subdued by Pansu. To prevent Mi-sun from getting hurt, he pushed her into the kitchen and fought with the drunks. Mi-sun, worried someone might be seriously injured, tried to stop Pansu but accidentally called out his name. Realizing he couldn't hide any longer, Pansu revealed to Mi-sun that he was Pansu and explained the soul swap. Mi-sun was unwilling to believe him, but Pansu recounted their past, from when they met to when they got to know each other. Mi-sun finally believed he was Pansu. Her attitude changed immediately as she told him to get out of her sight. Seeing Mi-sun's firm stance, Pansu had no choice but to leave temporarily. Mi-sun reflected on the past. That day, Hyun-young was invited by the senior she had a crush on to his birthday party, and she happily agreed. She dressed up carefully and went to the party. Dong-hyun's deskmate, who was running errands for the delinquent girls, overheard the senior's plan against Hyun-young. Pansu arranged to meet with Mi-sun to seek forgiveness, but Mi-sun didn't want to forgive the jerk who abandoned her. After making it clear she wanted nothing to do with Pansu, she got up to leave. Pansu stood up and grabbed her hand. Still unwilling to let go, Pansu suddenly received a call from the deskmate, informing him that Hyun-young was in danger. Pansu hurried to find the delinquent girl, asking her to take him to the party. At that moment, the senior revealed his true colors and brought a large bowl of alcohol, intending to get Hyun-young drunk, but she refused because she didn't drink. Seeing Hyun-young being so uncooperative, the senior dropped the act and poured the drink on her. Pansu drove over, took down the security guards at the door, and rushed inside. He arrived just in time to see Hyun-young being bullied and covered her with his coat, intending to take her away. The senior wasn't happy and pulled Hyun-young back, ordering others to teach Pansu a lesson. Pansu quickly dealt with the group of lackeys with a few punches and kicks. The delinquent girl was impressed by Pansu's cool moves. Pansu confidently led Hyun-young out of the party. Man-chul informed Pansu that his wife had colluded with the rival to frame him for embezzling company funds. Pansu had him break into the president's residence and single-handedly defeated all the lackeys. He approached the president and handed over a letter written by Pansu. One day, the delinquent girl stopped Pansu. Pansu thought she wanted to cause trouble for Hyun-young again, but instead, She shyly asked about his relationship with Hyun-young, a stark contrast to her usual arrogant demeanor. Pan-soo clarified that he and Hyun-young were not a couple. After giving him a gift, the girl ran off shyly. As Pan-soo was about to open the gift, Hyun-young noticed it. Pan-soo tried to explain but was suddenly caught off guard when Hyun-young confessed her feelings to him, so he decided to retreat for the moment.
기집애가 미쳤어! 안 돼! 절대 안 돼! 죽어도 안 돼! 너!
Hyun-young couldn't understand why her mother objected to her dating Pan-soo. Mi-sun couldn't explain her reasons either. Hyun-young was determined to have Pan-soo, who cared for her like a father, as her boyfriend. Mi-sun could only confront Pan-soo, harshly questioning what he had done to make Hyun-young confess to him. Pan-soo expressed his helplessness. Mi-sun demanded he disappear from Hyun-young's life.
네 엄마를 사랑한다.
Hyun-young accidentally overheard Pan-soo confessing his love to her mother, and her world instantly shattered. She believed her mother's opposition was because she wanted to be with Pan-soo herself. Without listening to Mi-sun's explanations, Hyun-young left in tears. Mi-sun angrily attacked Pan-soo with punches and kicks. Meanwhile, Dong-hyun, whose soul was swapped, woke up with Pan-soo's face and returned home, shocking his father. At this moment, Pan-soo also arrived. Dong-hyun, seeing his own face in front of him, was stunned and incredulous at how handsome he looked after losing weight. The group discussed the soul swap situation. Dong-hyun's father, seeing his son with a scruffy beard acting coy, was filled with disbelief. However, listening to his son with the scruffy beard recount the past, he had no choice but to accept everything. Pan-soo brought the groomed Dong-hyun to see Mi-sun. Upon seeing the familiar man in front of her, Mi-sun was captivated once again. Just as she was about to express her feelings, the antagonist made a poorly timed appearance, intending to take Pan-soo out while he was still vulnerable. Seeing the menacing antagonist, Dong-hyun almost burst into tears. Pan-soo pushed Mi-sun and Dong-hyun into the kitchen and then stood guard at the kitchen door. As a high school student, Pan-soo defiantly faced the antagonist, ready for a showdown. Even though Pan-soo was in a different body, his skills remained sharp. After swiftly taking down a few thugs, he was eventually overwhelmed by sheer numbers and knocked to the ground. Just as his life was in danger, Mi-sun saved him by brandishing a gas tank and opening the valve. She threatened to blow them all up with a lighter if anyone dared to harm the father of her child. Pan-soo gently took the lighter from Mi-sun's hand. Once everyone fled, Dong-hyun came out with a frying pan to show off a bit. The chairman called in Pan-soo's wife and presented Pan-soo's letter. In the letter, Pan-soo revealed his wife's conspiracy in full detail. The chairman trusted his son-in-law Pan-soo completely and apprehended the traitor who colluded with his daughter. The chairman also summoned Pan-soo, but since Pan-soo couldn't appear in person, he had Dong-hyun wear headphones to deal with the chairman. Pan-soo remotely guided Dong-hyun, and the chairman decided to reclaim all his daughter's assets and let Pan-soo inherit his business. In an attempt to win back favor, Pan-soo's wife revealed the existence of Pan-soo's illegitimate daughter, Hyun-young. The chairman, incredulous, asked Pan-soo if it was true. At that moment, the headphone signal was lost, and Dong-hyun had no choice but to admit it openly. Dong-hyun spoke frankly and expressed his view that being with family is true happiness, renouncing the position of heir and returning to Mi-sun's side for Pan-soo.
다들 미쳤어.
The chairman had no reason to hold him back. Dong-hyun had little regard for wealth. Dong-hyun's actions turned Pan-soo back into an ordinary citizen. Pan-soo, however, did not blame him and thanked Dong-hyun for making the choice for him. Out of jealousy, Pan-soo's wife drove a car into the two of them. Pan-soo pushed Dong-hyun out of the way. Pan-soo was rushed to the hospital, and Dong-hyun suddenly fainted. The two of them returned to their original bodies. When Dong-hyun returned to school, everyone was very warm to him. Even the guys who used to bully him greeted him. Much to Dong-hyun's surprise, Dong-hyun and Hyun-young officially became a couple, and Mi-sun accepted Pan-soo. With everyone becoming a family, Man-chul remained loyally by Pan-soo's side, working as a mover for Pan-soo's shop. They were not wealthy in terms of money, but when it came to love, they were rich beyond measure.